open a file, and you are going to do that from your downloaded watercolor image. So just press open and then find the picture of your watercolor paintings, and that will automatically be loaded in here. So the first thing that you need to do is we need to go ahead and unlock this layer. So just click that lock and you see it goes away. And now we're going to be ready to edit it. So what we have to do is we have to get every single one of these images by itself. So it's its own layer, okay? So if you zoom in here, you can see like areas like this where on the popsicle stick here, where some of this stuff has, I went outside the lines a little bit. You'll be able to clean up those areas now. So I'm not going to do all of these, but I'm just going to show you the best ways to get started. So if I want to go and I'm going to remove this popsicle, a couple different things you can do. So we can just try using the magic wand tool on the background, and you can see that it picks up a lot of the area of the white spaces, but if I were to press delete, it's going to remove a lot of my other images too. So that's probably not the best thing I want to do, so I'm going to Command Z. So instead, you can try either using the magnetic lasso tool or just the regular lasso tool as well. So, or you might try to do this. So you might try to isolate this image here. So I'm only selected on around this popsicle area, okay? Then you could go ahead and do Command C, Command V. And now I've created a new layer where I'm just focusing on this here. So now I can take the magic wand tool and I can click around and I can look to see. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and just press delete. Then I'm going to get rid of all of that other stuff with the eraser tool. Just around there that I don't need. So now I'm really going to zoom in for this because this is where I want to make sure I have a nice clean line. And I'm just erasing this. So I want to come around here, clean up these edges. Where maybe I went outside the lines or there was an error. Okay, so then after you've done that, okay, you've cleaned up all of the edges, and I still need to smooth some of these up, but you get the idea. Now you can go in and you can start making some edits on your pieces. So for instance, like up here, where I have kind of this brown image, where that watercolor was overlapping, we're going to try a new tool. And it doesn't always work necessarily, but it's called the spot healing brush tool, okay? So what you do is you can just run over top of it, and sometimes it will just kind of patch that area, and it kind of disguises because it's picking from these light colors here, okay? So that could be one option if there's an area you don't like, or you just want to go in and you're going to use that healing tool and see it's removing some of those things. Now you do have to be careful though. Watch as I get this really big and I just go like this. It'll take a second to load here, but that lost a lot of the details there. So when you do it, you've got to make sure that you're keeping your brush small for that area and just do little sections at a time. So if there's like a pencil area that you're like, you know what, that's too dark, you might go ahead and just run it over like it was like the paintbrush tool, and you can see how well it's kind of cleaning up it, and it won't always, like that area wasn't a good one to do that in. Okay, but like here, if I zoom in, Command plus, if I take the healing brush across here, look how it cleans up that edge while still keeping the quality of that watercolor, okay? Even these lines here, as I go over top of it, it might remove some, but do what you want for that, okay? So that is the first thing that you need to do is go ahead and clean up all of these images so that they look really, really nice and polished, okay? So every single one. So I've only done that with one of them. I still have a bunch more to go on here. But by the end of it, we want each of our images to be on a separate layer. So for instance, I would go back here. And then the next one, I'm going to do the ice cream cone. So I'm going to just highlight this area. Command C, Command V, hide this original layer. And now I can just focus on editing this image here. Now, let's go back to this popsicle here. One of the things that you can also do is, let's say you just don't like a color of the area, okay? So we can do a couple of different things. So we haven't used this tool yet. It's called the color replacement tool. And you have some options to go over top of it and actually change the color of it. So maybe you're like, I hate this color green that I used. You could actually go right over top of it with another color. And it still kind of has some of that watercolor quality to it, okay? Now, you notice that I got a little bit on this popsicle stick here. So if this, do you see the plus sign here? That's your aiming area, okay? So when it goes outside of it, just use that as a reference there. But that's one way that you can get a little bit of a different color on there, okay? And let's see. And some color combinations don't work very well. Okay, so there you go. You see how using that color changes it a little bit too. Or you might say, I really like the green I just want it to be maybe enhanced a little bit more. You can try that so you can see that it's kind of toned some of the things down. But another way to do that, if you're like, I like the color, but I want to brighten it up, is to just take your brush tool, turn the opacity down so it's really, really low, and then you can kind of start going over top of it. Now that looks too dark, so I'm going to turn that opacity down even more. So here, it's kind of just bringing out some of those areas a little bit more, and you can have some more control if you're like, you know what, I want this area to be darker. And kind of put some of those colors back in there too. So that is an option as well. So for this first part, you want to get all of your images separated from your original drawing, and there'll be another video for the second part.